Today we're going to do mattress stitch, which allows you to sew two pieces of fabric together. It ends up making the seam pretty much invisible on the outside. Here's an example of a fingerless mitten. This is the seam here. This is how we're going to attach this flat piece like this to make it into a tube. So normally you would use the tail of your knitted item, but in this instance I'm using a contrast yarn to make it easier to see what we're doing. You're going to line up your two edges of your fabric, or your knitted fabric I should say, and you want to see that in garter stitch each row is made by a pair of bumps. So you have the arches and the little U's underneath, and together they make one row. So you want to make sure that you start off with everything lined up correctly at the bottom. And in theory, on the left side of this piece of fabric, it's all the arches on the top and the row. And on the right piece of fabric, it's all the U's on the bottom. So you're going to take your tapestry needle and your yarn, and you're going to first, if this were my tail here, I would start on the opposite side. I would scoop up the first arch, pull my yarn through. In this case, I would leave a tail, and then pull through the U on the matching side. Once I get those two matched up, I'll match up my next row. So this arch on this side, and then this U on the opposite side. The trick is you want to do it pretty loosely to start, and then come back later and tighten these up maybe every couple inches or inch and a half, depending on how many rows per inch you have going on. So where I left down here the last time, now the next arch is over here. And the next scoop on the opposite side is over here. Some yarns are easier to see than others. This is actually a thick and thin yarn, so it's a little trickier to see, but we're using this in a workshop tomorrow and knit along here on the farm. So I thought I would use the yarn that we are going to be using in class tomorrow. So once I'll probably do a couple more rows. And I'll do one more over here. Once I get about this far, now I'm going to start tightening up these stitches. And you just pull, and you'll see you just want to pull enough to make these stitches come together and they look like they're all at the same tension. You don't want to pull so tight that it rucks everything up together. And in this case, if we were using the tail, it would pull it up nicely this way. But as you can see, you get a really nice finished garment. It's smooth here in the fabric. It's a lot easier to keep it loose to start, though it's a lot harder to pick it out afterwards. But this is how we do mattress stitch. Simple and effective.